So I'm just going to again just say a little bit. We'll do a mantra, and I thought it'd be nice to do the Maitri mantra, get us all connected with metta, start of the evening. And yeah, there was still some exploration of sound and mantra and chanting, but also something about not trying what we're trying to do in meditation. And again, Paramanda wasn't wanting to sort of fix things or say, this is what meditation is, this is what we're trying to do, this is what we should be doing. He was giving us an invitation to be more open and, in a way, not try to change or transform or to make anything happen, just to be open. But very much bringing out the fact that it's a very intimate thing that we're doing in meditation because we're sitting with ourselves. We're sitting with our experience and getting to know ourselves moment by moment, all our habits, all our tendencies. If we keep on meditating over time, we'll really get to know ourselves and our reactions, reactivity, our conditioning, our views, the things that we find challenging, the things that we find scary, the things that we find inspiring or joyful. And we'll get to know ourselves in different ways, different layers of being. Yeah. So there was a whole thing about, we're meditating with our bodies, and the body not just being literally the physical body, though of course it is the physical body, but Pramanda was also talking about our energetic body, our psychological body, we talk about emotional body. Working so much with energy in meditation. And again, those can be quite subtle energies, can be quite powerful energies, it can be creative energy, it can be emotional energy, all kinds of different energies. And the energy can flow or be blocked, and different energies can be flowing and other ones can be blocked. So if we're sitting with ourselves over time, we really get a sense of all those things that we probably aren't aware of most of the time when we're going about our everyday lives. Because we can find it hard to be aware of all those things while we're doing activities or talking to someone. So that's one of the advantages of meditation, which again, stopping and being still and being quiet, and that gives the space to notice what's going on for us, to get acquainted with ourselves. And I think, there is that real opportunity to befriend ourselves. Probably most of us have got mixed feelings about ourselves, depending on our experiences in life so far and our early conditioning and later conditioning. We probably all internalize some views about ourselves that we're not good enough in some way, or that we're quite critical or whatever. And that internalized voice might go on during our meditations. So there's something about or being a bit kinder to ourselves, a bit more compassionate to ourselves, which is where metta is really helpful. But also that sense of aligning ourselves with reality, our reality in the moment, the way things are, the way we are, whether it's that what's happening in our body, we've got an ache or an itch, we're feeling tired, we're feeling buzzy and restless, what's going on emotionally, feelings, thoughts, and again, on that more fundamental level, is there any aversion going on? Are we sort of trying to deny something, pushing part of our experience away? Or are we trying to cling on to hold on to our experience? And how much are we approaching our meditation out of habits, out of views that may be deluded, well, of course, we all will be, because we're not enlightened, are we? So, and we still, yeah, and that was another theme that was coming out quite a lot, I think, from Paramananda, if I understood what he was getting at, which I may not have. But that whole thing about, well, we're not separate, and the way that we fix ourselves, we fix others. And with that, there's a sense of being separate, being discrete, where actually we're all participating in life, we're all part of reality, we're all manifestations of reality, co-arising. And most of the time we don't have that sense, do we? But maybe occasionally we do get a glimpse of it. And meditation can be one of the places where we can create those conditions where that might happen. Not the only place, but it's definitely, I think, more likely to happen in meditation than in a lot of our other activities. So, yeah, there's something about just stopping, just being with whatever is around us, within us. So that Vipassana practice, that awareness where we're trying to have some insight, see reality, see things as they really are, experience things as they really are, align ourselves with the way things are. That starts in a very intimate, personal way with, well, what's happening in our body, and we can experience dukkha, we can experience impermanence, we can experience substantiality just through sitting and paying attention to our bodies, or paying attention to our emotions and our thoughts, our state of mind. But in our personal experience, that we can connect to something more universal. So insight practice can be on a very practical level and on a very personal level, if we don't just turn inwards and make it all about us. So it's kind of a paradox that sometimes paying more attention to ourselves helps us be more aware of others in the world and the way things are. Yeah, the way things are for us will often link into the way things are for others. Anyway, that's just some random thoughts for me trying to remember a little bit of what Paramahansa was talking about earlier. There was so much he talked about, wasn't there? And then the stuff he led in the meditations. But I think basically there's a sense of letting go, an opportunity to do things in a different way, having a different experience of ourselves, of life, of reality in our meditation practice. And a real invitation, encouragement to be more open, more receptive to whatever's arising in the moment, to be in the moment. Not trying to make anything happen, not trying to change things. Even though change is always happening, isn't it? And just sitting still, just paying attention, we'll become aware of that change. But I suppose it's that more willful, try to be in control, trying to fix ourselves, our lives, samsara, that is so much ingrained in us, I think. It does take quite a lot of effort to sort of try to just be and let go of that. And when it comes down to it, I think a lot of the path, a lot of meditation is just about trying to become more aware and trying to become kinder, more compassionate. ourselves, to others. So let's start with the Maitri mantra. We're basically trying to connect with that energy of metta, kindness, that attitude, that intention for the well-being of living beings, including ourselves, but also others all around the world, the universe. And metta's there, metta's all around, it's within us, and it's outside us. Yeah. If you think about how many people may be practicing the Metta Bhavana right now, and at some point they will include you in one of their stages, whether it's the final stage, or maybe they've seen you around, you might be in their third stage. Someone knows you well, you might be in their second or fourth stage. But at any point, there's probably a lot of people practicing metta, and we can receive that metta, And also we have the metta, the seeds of metta within us, that we can create the conditions for it to flourish and grow. That's in a way what we're doing in the Metta Bhavana practice. And when we're practicing metta in our lives, So if we just stick to that intention of kindness and care towards ourselves, towards others, that's enough in a way. That desire for the well-being of others and the desire for our own well-being. So I'll do the Maitri mantra, and I'm going to start it off, and Apeksha Priya will join me. If you're not familiar with the Maitri mantra, at a certain point, I'm probably going to do a different line and get in harmony with Apeksha Priya. So then you can choose which one you want to do. And then the mantra will end with just going back to the original line again. So I'll do the Maitri mantra, and then we'll do a period of just sitting. And we're also going to have a period of, I suppose you could call it mindfulness of sounds. I'm just going to be playing about on singing bowls. And the invitation again is just for you to allow sound to be sound. In the seen, only the seen; in the heard, only the heard. You may find yourself having reactions to sounds, but in a way, just let the sounds come and go in your awareness. And what's it like just to be, and just to allow the sounds to come and go. And at a certain point, those will fade away and we'll have a little period of silence. And then we're going to end the evening with a Shakyamuni Buddha Puja taken from the Dhammapada, which seemed kind of appropriate because in a way everything's coming from the Buddha. And there is that sort of steadiness, that simplicity that I think is communicated in this particular puja, how the calmness of the Buddha, the steadiness of the Buddha, that quality of not moving towards, not pushing away. Paramada, I think he talked about Padmasambhava saying, don't accept, don't reject, which did remind me of some of the the early descriptions of equanimity, or even neither moving towards or to anything and everything's balance. Might do a short reading around that, the early ones. So that's basic plan. It goes slightly off piece, but that's the basic plan. So if you want to get yourselves comfortable, we'll start with the mantra. Do some just sitting and then have the mindfulness of singing bowls. Om Maitri, Maha Maitri Swaha. 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 We'll have 15 minutes of just sitting. Okay. So yes, still got the traces of that cough that may be coming and going, I'm afraid. But yes, now we're going to have a period of just listening to sound. And I thought I would read the Buddha's advice to Bahia. And quite often people only hear the first part of it in the seen, only the seen, in the heard, only the heard. But the whole of it is, again, getting to the same territory Paramana was talking about, going beyond the self. Okay. But here you should train yourself thus. In reference to the seen, there will be only the seen. In reference to the heard, only the heard. In reference to the sensed, only the sensed. In reference to the cognized, only the cognized. That is how you should train yourself. When for you, there will be only the seen in reference to the seen, only the heard in reference to the heard, only the sensed in reference to the sensed, only the cognized in reference to the cognized. Then, Bahia, there is no you in terms of that. When there is no you in terms of that, there is no you here. When there is no you here, you are neither here nor yonder, nor between the two. This, just this, is the end of dukkha. So let's see if in reference to the heard we can only have the heard without adding anything on. In the heard, only the heard. And as the sound fades, as the sound outside is in your mind, Okay, so let's have a brief leg stretch. Just 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll come back for the Buddha Puja. Okay, so welcome back, and we'll conclude the evening with Buddha Puja taken from the Dhammapada. It's got 7 sections, just like Sevenfold Puja, some in the kind of equivalent to that. We'll have Shakyamuni mantras during the puja. We won't be doing refuges and precepts, but there will be classic reading, this being that becomes at a certain point, which is very much in line with all that Paramananda's been talking about. We're arising in relationship. We're always in relationship to the world and other people and things and events, co-arising, manifesting together in the world, conditioned by the things around us, the things we experience, and also we are conditioning factors for others. Sometimes we forget that, don't we? We are so busy reacting to what's around us, we don't realise that we have an impact too. And that can be a really positive impact, through our practice. That idea of a perfuming, ethical practice, when we have the good qualities, it goes outwards and outwards and has an effect on the world that we might not be aware of. And probably we don't stop often to think that we may be having a positive impact on the world. Occasionally we find out when someone tells us, oh, when you did that, this really helped me. But in a way, it's just something we should take on trust, that if we're acting ethically, it'll have a beneficial effect. Just as if we're acting unskillfully, it will have a harmful effect on ourselves and others in the world. It's not in this particular puja, but that very opening verse of the Dhammapada about what we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday, our present lives. But our thoughts build our lives. Not just our thoughts, our minds, our actions, and that those actions have consequences. Skillful actions have beneficial consequences. Unskillful actions have harmful consequences. So we have that choice if we're aware. And we all have that Buddha nature, we all have those qualities, that potential within to be like the Buddha. Buddha was born as we are born. What the Buddha overcame, we too can overcome. What the Buddha attained, we too can attain. So, Buddha Puja from the Dhammapada. Praise. He is calm like the earth that endures.
He is calm like the earth that endures.
He is steady like a column that is firm.
He is steady like a column that is firm.
He is pure like a lake that is clear.
He is pure like a lake that is pure.
He is free from samsara,
He is free from samsara,
the endless round of suffering.
the endless round of suffering.
In the light of his vision,
In the light of his vision,
he has found true freedom.
he has found true freedom.
His thoughts are peace.
His thoughts are peace.
His words are peace.
His words are peace.
And his work is peace.
And his work is peace.
Salutation. By what earthly path
By what earthly path
could you lead the Buddha astray?
could you lead the Buddha astray?
He who can wander the pathless ways of the infinite.
He who can wander the pathless ways of the infinite.
The Buddha who is awake.
The Buddha who is awake.
Whose victory cannot be reversed.
Whose victory cannot be reversed.
Is a being none can conquer.
Is a being none can conquer.
One of true vision is not easy to find.
One of true vision is not easy to find.
Freed from craving.
Freed from craving.
Hatred and delusion.
Hatred and delusion.
A Buddha is a guide to be treasured.
A Buddha is a guide to be treasured.
Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha. 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 Going for refuge. People in fear
People in fear
flee for refuge.
flee for refuge.
to mountains or forests,
to mountains or forests,
to groves, sacred trees or shrines.
to groves, sacred trees or shrines.
But these are not a safe refuge.
But these are not a safe refuge.
They are not a refuge that frees from sorrow.
They are not a refuge that frees from sorrow.
One who goes for refuge to the Buddha,
One who goes to refuge to the Buddha,
to the truth teachings,
to the truth teachings,
and to the community he taught.
and to the community he taught,
They go indeed to a great refuge.
they go indeed to a great refuge.
That is a safe refuge,
That is a safe refuge,
a haven of wisdom and compassion.
a haven of wisdom and compassion.
Those who go to that refuge
Those who go to that refuge
will eventually be free from sorrow.
will eventually be free from sorrow.
Acknowledging unskillfulness. Hold not a fault of little matter,
Hold not a fault of little matter.
thinking, this is minor to me.
This is minor to me.
The falling of drops of water
The falling of drops and water
will in time fill a water jar.
will in time fill a water jar.
In the same way,
In the same way,
foolish people become full of delusion,
foolish people become full of delusion,
though they gather it little by little.
though they gather it little by little.
Focus not on the flaws of others,
Focus not on the flaws of others,
nor on their deeds and misdeeds.
nor on their deeds and misdeeds.
Focus instead
Focus instead
on what we ourselves regret,
on what we ourselves regret,
what we have done or not done.
what we have done or not done.
Neither in the sky,
Neither in the sky,
nor deep in the ocean,
nor deep in the ocean,
nor in a mountain cave,
nor in a mountain cave,
nor any worldly place
nor any worldly place
can we avoid our unskillful actions.
can we avoid our unskillful actions.
Rejoicing. Oh, let us live in joy,
Oh, let us live in joy,
kindly among those who blame,
kindly among those who blame,
among those who hate.
among those who hate.
Let us live in love,
Let us live in love,
among those who fight.
among those who fight.
Let us live in peace,
Let us live in peace,
among those who crave.
among those who crave.
Let us live content,
Let us live content,
among those who slumber.
among those who slumber.
Let us live awake,
Let us live awake.
when we know the balm of solitude
When we know the balm of solitude
and experience the relief of silence.
and experience the relief of silence,
Then we are free from fear and sorrow,
then we are free from fear and sorrow,
and feel the joy of the Dharma.
and feel the joy of the Dharma.
It is a delight
It is a delight
to see the noble and ethical.
to see the noble and ethical.
Contact with them
Contact with them
inspires and gladdens us.
inspires and gladdens us.
awake and watchful. The followers of Buddha Gautama
The followers of Buddha Gautama
are awake and ever watchful,
are awake and ever watchful,
and ever by night and by day
and ever by night and by day
they remember the Buddha,
they remember the Buddha,
their teacher.
their teacher.
The followers of Buddha Gautama
The followers of Buddha Gautama
are awake and ever watchful,
are awake and ever watchful,
and ever by night and by day
and ever by night and by day
they find joy in deep contemplation.
they find joy in deep contemplation.
This being that becomes, from the arising of this, that arises. This not being that does not become, from the ceasing of this, that ceases. And I'll do the mantra of that verse 3 times. Imasmim sati idam hoti imasupada idam upajati imasmim sati idam nahoti imasa niroda idam nurujati imasmim sati idam hoti imasupada idam upajati imasmim sati idam nahoti imasa niroda idam nirujati imasmim sati idam hoti imasupada idam upajati imasmim asati idam nahoti imasa niroda idam nirujati. This being that becomes, from the arising of this, that arises. This not being that does not become, from the ceasing of this, that ceases. Transference of benefit. As from a large garden of flowers,
As from a large garden of flowers,
many garlands and wreaths can be made,
many garlands and wreaths can be made.
so by a human being in this life,
So by a human being in this life,
much good can be achieved.
much good can be achieved.
May any merit
May any merit
gained through Dharma practice
gained through Dharma practice
be shared equally among all beings.
be shared equally among all beings.
The perfume of flowers
The perfume of flowers
goes not against the wind,
goes not against the wind,
not even the finest perfumes
not even the finest perfumes
of sandalwood,
of sandalwood,
of rose,
of rose,
or of jasmine,
or of jasmine,
but the perfume of virtue
but the perfume of virtue
does travel against the wind,
does travel against the wind,
and it can reach right to the ends of this world.
and it can reach right to the ends of this world.
Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Shakya Muni Swaha. 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 Okay, so we're going to end there. Thank you very much all for coming, practicing together. It's been a pleasure. And yes, Paramount will be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. UK time, whatever time that is for you, wherever you are.